You look at the top guests, our favorite guests we have on the show, the folks we have on all the time. I mean, Dr. Most, Pat Brady, folks like that.
Sure.
Nothing makes me happier than when this guy comes in.
I know the smile on your face. It's just...
I'm telling you. And, I don't smile that much.
I know. This is literally the only time I've ever seen him smile.
Robert J. Jones, Chancellor, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, my brother from a different mother. How are you, sir?
I'm most wonderful, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you.
Always a pleasure.
I know you're super busy, but I feel like you're not making enough time for me. Do we need counseling?
We probably should get a few sessions in. Yeah, I think so. Never hurts.
No, it never hurts. I know you've been traveling all over the world, and we were talking before we got on the air. You just made a very interesting trip to Vietnam.
To Vietnam, yes. One of the 4 places I've visited since the 3rd week in May.
And is the U of I going to have a presence of sorts there?
Well, we're looking into helping them figure out how they can expand the educational capacity in the country. They just opened a university, built a brand new university from ground up in 18 months. It is absolutely gorgeous, and they have somewhere around 900 or 1,000 students. And they're looking external to the country for educational partners to help expand the educational capacity in the country, and we're taking a look to see how we might be helpful.
Well, an agrarian economy and a school that probably leads the nation in great agricultural studies. I certainly make the argument. I'd certainly expect them to ask for U of I's help.
Well, they're interested in that, of course, but we also have this world-class engineering program.
I've heard of that, yeah, but I wasn't in. I mean, I didn't get in. Jane, did you get in?
I didn't get in. No. I think they lost my letter in the mail.
I think they're very much interested in our capacity in our business school, our engineering school, and just general education. The economy there is thriving. Some of the businesses are helping to transform the country, and so we had a chance to interface with the business leaders as well as some of the other officials. So it was a very, very worthwhile visit.
And where else have you been? You've been all over.
Well, I started out the week after the graduation, the end of the semester, and headed to South Africa for about 7 or 8 days.
Had you been?
I've been going to South Africa on a regular basis and went every year from 1984 to 1995.
Did you go there to sing initially?
No.
Never did any gospel there?
No.
No, I don't know that people know your full story, part of your fascinating life.
No.
That you were part of one of the great gospel organizations of all time.
We got invited to perform at a big musical festival once, but the whole thing kind of went into bankruptcy before we arrived, and so we had to cancel. But
so it was all your academics life.
Well, the stuff in South Africa, I was recruited in 1984 to be an academic and scientific consultant for Desmond Tutu.
Wow.
And the South African education program, which was Tutu's grand idea to prepare the country for post-apartheid by educating black South African students in American universities. At the time he started this program, there was less than 3,000 college-educated black South Africans in the whole country. And in the course of a little bit more than a decade, we educated more than that in American universities, and I was hired by USAID and a program called IIE to be the American Academic Consultant. To interview over roughly about 1,400 students in the course of about 4.5 weeks for 125 slots to study at an American university. And, most land-grant universities like Illinois and Minnesota, where I was at the time, participated. And in fact, there's a little known note that my Associate Vice Chancellor for International Programs was one of the students that I interviewed and selected more than X number of decades ago. So,
when does the book come out, really?
Oh, yeah, still in rough draft.
But here's the thing, and again, you won't talk about your life. You force me to do it, because I'll do it. I'll do it. Sharecropper's son.
Yeah.
Smart kid. Mm-hmm. Got his teacher that goes, I think you got something here. I want you to really get out there and get after it in this world and have this amazing academic track. On the side track is one of the great gospel groups of all time. Well, plug the band.
Right, absolutely.
Who were you with for all those years?
I hung around a group of people that called themselves the Sounds of Blackness.
Which is just tremendous. I mean, you could just, that's one of those, if you're on a deserted island, what do you want? I want Sounds of Blackness.
Do you still get to sing?
No. Last time I performed with them, ironically, I think it was just as I was leaving SUNY Albany to come down here. I brought them to campus, and that must have been around 2016. And we've been trying to get him here, but COVID got in the way, so we're trying to regroup. But
his shower concerts at his house must be great, right? Yeah, when you're singing it up there. So I know you went to Israel, and I know you've got other trips coming up. You're going all over the world. You're the busiest guy. But I just love I'm fascinated, as you know, by your life and all the places you've been and all the places you go and your continued energy about it. So the kids are coming back soon.
Yes.
Are you ready? Do you need me to come down and pick up, clean up a little bit? You've been out of town.
It'll be nice for you to come down and help a few thousand students move into their apartments. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be great fun.
Suddenly I'm just the guy who lifts stuff.
You know, it's always great when you move with that move-in day to have the people there helping you bring those, crates up to the dorm room. So, Steve, that could be you.
You would be a great hit.
You would be, yeah.
He moves fast, too.
And I'm strong. I don't move fast in doing anything. I'm strong so I can lift stuff.
Yeah, we're very excited. We're very excited about the fall semester. Can't say what the exact numbers are going to look like exactly, but I can tell you we anticipate having probably the largest, again, a record-breaking largest class in the history of the university. First-year class.
Which is amazing. Wow. And a football team with great expectations this year and a coach you guys love and you should.
Absolutely. Brett Bielema is just an amazing individual, outstanding coach. I put him at the top 1% of coaches in all of NCAA, and he's just an amazing individual and has really helped to transform our football program, move it to the next level of excellence. We had a great season, and we're just very excited about the future. In fact, we're very excited about all of our sports program, men's basketball, Underwood, and our women's basketball team, as you know, just broke all kinds of records last year, and I have the great pleasure of having both my women's and my men's football coach that live within not exactly a stone's throw. I probably could throw that far when I was younger, but not anymore. Mm-hmm. We all live kind of right around each other, and I always enjoy seeing them out in the yards, gardening, and having a life outside of what they do professionally. But we're very excited about the future of athletics. NCAA and all intercollegiate athletics has kind of been turned on its heels right now. But as it relates to our program, we're very excited about the future.
Well, it's good days, and you want to make sure those continue as long as they can. It's Chancellor Robert J. Jones from the University of Illinois. I want to get Nick and Jane in here when we get back on the other side of the break, but Hope Chicago is a very important project to you.
Yes.
I want to talk about that. Obviously, I want to talk about the admissions ruling that came down in the Supreme Court, what that means for the U of I. And also, since we're talking about sports, parents are going to wonder, is the U of I, like all schools, looking at what's going on behind the scenes so you don't run into the same thing that the people at Northwestern are dealing with now?
Sure, absolutely.
So we'll talk about all that coming back. See, we got the fun stuff out in front. Now we get to the stuff that's not that much fun.
And then we'll wrap it up with fun at the end.
Yeah, we'll bring back some fun.
Yeah, like a sandwich.
But, right, it's a sandwich. That's what this show is. Chancellor Robert J. Jones, overdressed for the Steve Cochran Show, looking fine in his suit and tie. If I didn't know better, I'd say he's got more important meetings today.
Is he overdressed or are you underdressed? We're supposed to wear the suit and tie on Thursdays.
I come dressed for the occasion, and you never know when golf might break out.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Chancellor Jones and I are also grandparents, and I got a couple that rule my world, a little 7-year-old girl, a little boy that's about to turn 4, and your little one's 2.5 now?
About 2.5, but my grandkids, and don't ask too many questions about this because we'll be here all day, but the oldest one is 25 and the youngest is 28 months.
And, I tell my kids, I love my kids more than life. I'd walk in front of a bus for them now, but I look at both of them and I go, look, you're good, but these two little ones, I'm telling you right now.
Aren't they amazing?
It's a cool invention. And you don't know till you know. You don't know till you know.
Don't know until you know. That's absolutely right.
All right, Chancellor. So let me jump into a couple of things. We're talking about sports before. For parents who are listening, for anyone who's curious because of the importance of the University of Illinois, I assume all schools are doing an internal investigation based on what's going on at Northwestern to make sure you know what's going on at your school.
Well, I'm absolutely sure that all, if not most, institutions are taking on this unfortunate situation as an opportunity to take a deep dive and look at their own policies and practices and remind their community. And it's not just the athletic community. It has to be the broader university community that we have absolutely zero tolerance for any kind of hazing-related activities, regardless of whether it's mental or actual physical. It's not part of what we do, and very, very fortunate to have not only amazing coaches and amazing student athletes. I've got the best athletic director in the world who also shares my belief that there's no room, there's no place for that kind of behavior in our universities. But fortunately, regardless of what kind of policies and practice and the culture you try to build, unfortunately, these things happen. And the best thing you can do is to try to remind and build a culture where people know that if this stuff is going on, they can feel free and feel protected to come forth and to speak out.
And if you got an exceptional athlete kid, 15, 16 years old, going away to college in a couple of years, you got to let them know that it's okay to say it's not okay.
It's
okay to stay. Yeah. And by the way, if it means you're not going to that school anymore, then that's not the school you're going to. But you got to take care of you first.
Absolutely.
Because those scars can last a lifetime. All right. So the Supreme Court last week makes a pretty significant decision on affirmative action when it comes to admissions. This gets complicated because it's layered on a lot of levels. And you can make arguments on both sides. There's standardized testing questions, things of that nature. What does the U of I do with this kind of information? And I know it's early, but do you have to relook at how you admit kids?
Well, we started to kind of analyze what have been doing over the decades, and we're very, very proud of the fact that we've never had a admission criteria that's based on one variable. Mm-hmm. University of Illinois, like many of our peer institutions, use a multiple variable analysis to decide on student is going to be admitted. But the decision that was made last week, from where we sit, we're still trying to better understand it. In fact, I'm going to Washington, D.C. next Wednesday to meet with Secretary Cardona and other university leaders to further kind of discuss the implications of this. But let me just say succinctly, the University of Illinois has a very strong commitment, and you've heard it from me.
Yeah.
I haven't been on your show when I haven't talked about our commitment to providing an amazing education at an affordable price to a broad array of students.
Yeah, absolutely.
And equity and diversity, and making sure that underserved students get a chance to get a world-class education still is a top priority for the University of Illinois. It's a top priority for me. And so notwithstanding this decision, it is not going to deter us from continuing to do what we've been doing for a very, very long time. But I also remind you that as a university and as a state entity and as a public entity, we will abide by the law, but it's not going to pull us away from our commitment for equity, diversity, and inclusion, because that is what will continue to make this country even greater than it is today, and we're very much committed to that.
And whether a kid gets into a great school like the University of Illinois or not, a lot of it depends on the track they're allowed to travel on long before they make that application to school, which brings me to Hope Chicago.
You're absolutely right. I remind people that getting into a university like in Illinois, any other university, starts in pre-K. We all know if you're not reading by third grade and doing math by fourth grade, and we all know that if you're not college ready or very well along that path by ninth grade, the probability of getting into a university like Illinois is very, very limited. And so that's why we work so hard on everything from early childhood education to teacher preparation. And now this college readiness piece that Hope Chicago has rolled out and has sent a very strong message to high school kids that if you do work hard, prepare yourself, you don't have to worry about what it costs to get into and what it costs to go to a place like the University of Illinois and all of the other partner institutions.
Because you will have earned your way in.
You would have earned your way in, and that you've got a whole community of people around you, including university leaders and the staff at these universities, that will make sure once you admit it, that they're providing the wraparound services to make sure you graduate on time. Because, Steve, everybody talks about admission. Not enough people talk about completion.
There you go.
That's good.
And we're very big. We have one of the best completion rates among our peers across this country, and we're very proud of that. There's a very narrow gap between the graduation rate of underrepresented students and so-called majority students, and we've articulated a plan as a part of our Access 2030 where we're going to close that gap. It's a very small gap relative to our peers because most of our peers are double digits.
Right.
Ours is single digit, and still the graduation rate among both constituency groups is one of the highest in the nation.
Yeah. You ought to be proud of that.
Very proud of it.
Nick, you want to jump in here?
Well, I'm curious, as always, when we're upon a new start of a school year, about capital projects on campus. Do you have any new capital projects going on?
How's the Steve Cochran Center coming? I know you guys thought maybe a donation would help, but I didn't.
I think we're breaking ground next week, but we're waiting on that check that you promised.
The porta potty. It's
That's
a Steve
right.
Cochran.
Ask for the
It's a Steve
money.
Cochran. It's a Steve Cochran labeled porta potty. No, there's always building going on, I'm sure. But is it a building phase or a steady phase?
Particularly, for the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, even when there wasn't capital support coming in from the state and other places, we've always built the facilities that's necessary to carry out our mission. And under Governor Pritzker, we got one of the largest capital campaigns funded about 4 or 5 years ago. And so those projects now have to go through the Capital Development Board, and funding is being released. So, yes, we are continuing to build buildings. We had just broke ground on a new instructional facility, the second one on campus in the last 2 years. That's a part of Geese College of Business. It's right next door. That's going to be a game changer, and we're starting construction pretty soon on the Doris Christopher Extension Center.
So it's ongoing, and the Chancellor's
It's ongoing.
Chancellor's swinging the hammer, too. Jane, last word.
Oh my goodness, I have 2 questions. I have to pick the best one. I'm going to go with this one. I do want to go back to school just because hearing you talk, I'm excited. But you see these freshmen coming in, you're on campus, you see all these bright faces excited for the next 4 or 5 years, whatever it may be. You meet a lot of alum. So how do you make the University of Illinois experience not just an educational story for these 4 years, but really last a lifetime and continue to have it grow?
Well, the way that I do it is just part of my personality and my nature, I guess. I try to be a student-focused chancellor. And everybody that knows me and observes me on campus will let you know that I take more selfies than any person I think on the planet because I can't walk out of my office and go anywhere unless I'm stopped. I have to plan for sometimes an extra 45 minutes if I want to go grab lunch. Because I spend a lot of time talking with students, taking selfies, making sure they feel a sense of belonging to that large, complex place. Yeah. It's very easy to feel a sense of isolation in a place that's right now is about 57,000 students, and you can take a bet on this. In the next few years, we'll be over 60,000 students at this university. So part of it is helping to build a sense of belonging and let the students know that I'm approachable as the chief executive officer of the university, that we care about them, and that we communicate with them on a regular basis and do all we can to make sure that they're successful.
It's the Chancellor, and thank you for the extra time. I know you got to run and talk to people who are allegedly more important than us. Personally, we're not buying it. But as Chancellor of the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, it's a 24/7 job, and we appreciate you taking the time to drop in.
We love the access.
You're always welcome here. You know that.
It's always my pleasure to be here, Steve and Jane.
And don't forget about Nick in the window over here.
Yeah,
Nick in the window.
I don't count.
That's right. The voice of God, because I can't say that.
Well, let's not
go that far.
Let's not give him too much credit.
His head's growing.
I mean, that's
swelling.
the home office. We're not going to spread that out.
Good morning, Nick. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
All right, Chancellor, stay healthy, be well, and all the best. ILL.
ILL.
That's how it works.
Thanks a lot.